Hello my friends, today we're learning Bobebastra Daf Pei Tes. We're going to start 3 lines down. Mokim Shenagu Lomud Bagaso. So we learned that in a place where you do big measurements, you shouldn't do small measurements. Says the Gemara, Simen ein ma'ani ve'en goytshim bargadim uvelitro shloisha v'eser nefesh miskoilis mnachek ava lo itasu lo yasa. Says the Gemara, Tonu Rabbanon, minayin shein moichkim b'mokum shegoytshim. How do we know that in a place where the minig is, when you put on the measurement, you fill up the measurement, and it's full a bit over the measurement, that the minig is to goydish, to have a bit of a pile on top, that you're not allowed to straighten out. Vein goychim, and you're not allowed to do a higher pile, b'mokum shemoichkim, in the place where the minig is to be moichek. How do we know this? Talmud loima, eifo shleima, full eifo, whatever the minig is over there. The minig is to make a bit of a pile on top, and he says, I'm going to straighten out and give you a little bit less, and I'll give you a better price. Or he said, I'll put a higher pile in a place where you make it clear at the top, and I'll pay you a little extra. We don't listen to him, because if you do that, other people are going to think, they're not going to know they put down the price or put up the price, and they're going to do the same, and then they're going to cheat. Talmud loima eifo shleimo v'tzedek yelecho. From the word tzedek, that you have to be very careful to do tzedek, and that people shouldn't learn any mistakes. And all the droshes we're going to learn in the continuation, in the Sifri, I think it says, the Rashbam says, you learn it from the extra word tzedek. Tonu Rabbanon, minayin shein ma'aynim, they're not allowed to. So we said there's two ways to measure. So there's scales. On here is a stone of a kilo, and over here the produce of a kilo. So ma'ayni means that it should be exactly on the same level. And the other word, machri, means that you make the stone go a bit higher. That means that the weight of the let's say wheat should be a bit lower, that you should get a bit more. That means machrim, that we give the customer a little bit more. So the Moratona Rabbana, minayin shein me'aynim b'mokum shemachrim ve'in machrim b'mokum shema'aynim, that you're not allowed to change. Talmud loima even shleimo, u'minayin shein omar reini me'ayin b'mokum shemachrim ulifkois lo min adomim, and I'll pay me a little bit less because you're getting less. V'reini machria, or I'll do exactly the same amount b'mokum. Sorry, I'll give you a little bit extra mokum shema'aynim, where the minig is to give the exact amount to loisif le'adomim, and he'll pay a little extra shein shoyim lo. Talmud loima even shloima v'tzedek, as we explained, that people might learn from it and do mistakes and cheat each other, and we learn it from tzedek. Omar Rav Yehuda Misura lo yelecha. So we darshaning lo yelecha bebeischa. It says in the pasuk, the pashas of the pasuk is lo yeh bebeischa. You shouldn't have in your house two different measurements. So we darshaning lo yeh bebeischa. You won't have money in your house. You'll be poor. Matam. What's the reason you'll be poor? Mishum eifo ve'eifo. Because you have two measurements. When you buy in the bigger measurement, and when you sell in the smaller measurement. So because you cheat, you're going to be poor. You won't have any money in your pocket. Not like the Pasha of the Pasuk, it means don't have in your pocket cheating stones. It means you won't have in your pocket any money. Why? My time. What's the reason? Mishum even ve'even. Because you have two types of stones and you cheat. Avol, even shleimo v'tzedek yelecho. If you have a good stone, then you will have money. Eifo shleimo v'tzedek yelecho. If you have a good eifo, you will have money. You won't be poor, you'll be rich. Tonu Rabbanon yelecho. From the word yelecho, we learn shema midim agradamin. Agradamin means people to check that people are not cheating. Lamido is that they go around the shops and they go and see if the measurements are correct. Midim agradamim l'sharim, but to make sure that there's a fixed price for stuff in town, that people shouldn't sell in different prices. You don't put people to check and let each one sell. And if someone sells inexpensive, no one's going to come to him. Everyone's going to go to the cheap person. The Bey Nesia, the people of the Beis Nesia in Bovel, they had the Bey Nesia all the generations, and it was a person who was in charge from the kingdom of the time to be in charge of the Jewish people. Ukmi Agardim, they put people to measure Bein Midas, Bein Shorim, not like we learned in the Brisa. Omale Shmuel Karna, Shmuel told his Talmud called Karna, Puk Tonilo Go tell them the brisa that it says ma'amidim agardumim lemidos ve'enam ma'amidim agardumim l'shorim, that we don't do for shorim people to check that everyone's selling in the same price. Nofak Darashlu went Karna and he told them not like that. He told them Amidim Agardumim Bein Lemidis Bein Leshorim, that also Leshorim you put Agardumim. Amalei, so Shmuel told his Talmud Karna, Mashmecha, what's your name? Karna, like a horn. Teipuk le Karna Beine, you should have a horn in your eyes, between your eyes. Nofak le Karna Beine, a piece of meat grew between his eyes. Says it more of a Iu Kiman Sova. Karna, who taught them not like his Rebbe Shmuel, who did he hold like? Says it more, Kiyod Omar Romi Bar Choma, Omar Rav Yitzchok, likewise Romi Bar Choma told in the name of Rav Yitzchok, Ma'amidim Agardumim Bein Amidis Bein Ashorim, he play Aramoim, that we don't want the people to cheat. And the reason why also Leshorim, because the person's going to wait till the other people sell for the fixed price, and when they don't have produce anymore, he's going to sell for the high price, and then the prices are going to go up, and that's why we put Agardumim also for the Shorim. Tonu Rabbanon, Oyo Mivakesh Mimeno Litra, he wanted to weigh a litra, Shoikel a litra. You weigh for him a litra, Chetzi litra, he wanted to buy half a litra, Shoikel a Chetzi litra, you weigh half a litra, Revia, he wanted a Revia litra, Shoikel a Revia litra. You measure for him a quarter of a litra. A litra is a measurement. Says the Gemara, Maika Mashamaw, what's the Chiddush? Obviously, what are you telling me over here? Says the Gemara, the Chiddush is, the Mitakni Mitakli Adochi. There is measurements of a litra, half a litra, of a quarter of a litra, but you don't create measurements of less than a litra. And that's the chiddush of the brisa. He wants to buy 3/4 of a litra, and we said there's no measurements of a 3/4. There's a full, a half, and a quarter. So let's do 3 measurements, a quarter and a quarter and a quarter. Why shouldn't you do that? Because then every time when you give him a little bit extra, he's going to gain a lot. So one by one, every time a quarter. Ella, what do? Shekel litra. You put on one side the full amount, a litra. And let's say he's buying meat, so with the meat you put a measurement of a quarter of a litra. We said we had that, and then the meat. So together with the measurement of the litra, you have a 3/4, and that's the way you measure 3/4. Instead of measuring 3 times a quarter, you measure it in 1 time, and you put a stone of a litra on the side of the meat, and that's of a quarter of a litra, and that's why he gets 3/4 of a litra. Tonu Rabbanon learned, and he wants to buy from him 10 litrin, shouldn't tell him, measure me 1 by 1, and every time give me the little bit extra that the customer gets. You measure all of them in once, and only 1 time on those 10 liters you give him a little bit extra. Because if you're going to give him every time a little bit extra on each liter, he's going to get much more. Tonu Rabbanon. So before we start this, there's a few Moznaim is a scale, an old type of scale that has 2 plates, the strings, and then it has a stick in between that holds those strings, and then it's hanging from the ceiling or from something. So says the Gemara, Tonu Rabbanon, Moznaim kluya ba'avir gimel tfachim. When you measure with a Moznaim, and we're going to see on Amud Beis what are you measuring in this case, has to be 3 tfachim from the ceiling, from what's on top of it. They should have place to go up and down. And also from the ground, there should be 3 tfachim in there. Again, they should have place to go up and down. So sorry, I read at the beginning, I missed out. Let's start again. Tenu Rabbanon Nefesh Moznaim. Nefesh Moznaim is a stick that holds the strings up, that goes up and down. So that's clear about very good tfachim with gvoim and aretz shloisha tfachim. The kono masno is where the strings hold to hold the plate. Shalosh neimasot tfachim. They're 12 tfachim height. V'shel tzamorim, people who weigh wool that's weighs less. V'shel zagogim, people who make glass, only needs to be clear about very shnei tfachim, because you weigh less, it needs less of a place to go up and down. V'gvoim and aretz shnei tfachim. V'kono misna shelo test tfachim less than what we said before 12. V'shel chenvoni, of a shopkeeper that weighs less heavy stuff. V'shel balabayis, of a homeowner who sells small things. Clear about very tefach, all he needs is a tefach from the ceiling or from what's hanging from. V'gvoim in aretz tefach, and from the ground there also needs to be only a tefach. V'kono misna shelo shisha tefachim. V'shel turtini means a weight to weigh gold and silver. So it doesn't need a big weight to go up and down because you weigh very small measurements. So only needs to be clear ba'avir shloisha tzbois, 3 fingers. V'gvoim in aretz shloisha tzbois, and high from the ground 3 tzbois. The kono misna shelo eni yodeh. It says the Bryce, I don't know the size of the kono misna of a scale for silver and gold. Says the Gemara, the first one in the Bryce we said of wall, of shopkeepers, etc. What's the first one that we said that has the biggest measurement? They need 3 tefachim from the ceiling, etc. What are we talking about? What are you measuring over there? Says the Gemara, Daf Peites Amud Beis, Omar Papa, Gegirumi. It's all about people who weigh very heavy things of copper and metal, and that's why you need to have such big distances and much bigger than the other ones. Omar of Mani Bar Patish, like we said, the Gabe Issa, that means that you're not allowed to cheat, that you need to have these measurements. That if a way, let's say we said the string has to be a certain amount, the ropes that hold the plates up, etc. And like we said, that it has to have a certain size. That if it's less than that, it's not considered a keli to minkabel tumah because you're not allowed to use it. Says the Gemara, Michael Mashman, what's the chiddush? Tanina, we learned it. Chut muznaim shel chen b'ni shel balabatim tefach. It says that it's a tefach high because the chut that holds the scale from the ceiling has to, a tefach, and if it's less than a tefach, it's not good to use because it has to be a tefach from the ceiling. So we see over there clear din about tumah. Why do you need to say this? So the Gemara, kono misna shelo yitzrich deloit nana. In the Mishnah, it doesn't say about the size of the kono misna, only about the string that holds it up. And that's why it comes Rav Moni Bar Patish and says that this dinim about Isurim, about the kono misna, that doesn't say clearly about tumah. We're telling you that also applies about tumah and taira. Tonu Rabbanon learned, ein oisim mishkolis lo shel be'etz, not from eitz, not shel eva, v'lo shel gistorin. It's all types of materials that with the time they lose a weight. So let's say you do a kilo of one of these materials, and after half a year it's only 900 grams or 950, so you're cheating. It's not mixed metals. Off from a rock that doesn't lose its weight. Off from glass that also doesn't lose its weight. Toner Rabbanon, ein oisim is a machak. So a machak is, let's say you have the measurement vessel, and let's say that's a kilo. You know, if you have a wheat in here, you have a kilo or size. And so, and at the top, when it's at the top, it's overloading. You'd scrape it out with a tool. So that tool is called a machak. So you don't do that shel glass made out of pumpkin with neshu kal, because it's very light and it's not going to clear it very good, and therefore the seller is going to lose out. Veloisha matecha is not from metal with neshu machbid, because it's very heavy and it's going to rub out too much, and then the customer is going to lose. Avalosei, you're allowed to make it from shel zayis, from olive, shel egois, shel shikma, shel ish baroya. It's type of woods that are medium weight, and therefore it's fair for both parties. Tonu Rabbanon, ein oisim es hamachak, though we spoke about tzar tzidoi echad ab, and one side thick, the tzidoi echad kotzer, and one side thinner. Because then when you're gonna measure for yourself, you're gonna do it in the way that you're gonna lose less. And when you're gonna sell to someone, you're gonna do it in the thicker side that you're gonna take away from him more, so you're not allowed to do it. It has to be the same size, the whole length. And lo imchoik bivas achas, you know, when you moichek the top, don't do it in one strike. Shamoichek bivas achas rala moicha, because you don't do a proper mechika, and then the moicha loses because he sells too much. It's good for the customer, but to do it a few times, also you shouldn't do it. It's bad for the customer, he gets less. So you have to do it in the right way. Al-Kulon, on all these things that we learned now here, that it's about ways how to cheat really. Omar Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. So Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai said, I'm scared to say it. I'm scared not to say it. Why? If I'm going to say it, someone who wants to cheat is going to learn how to cheat. If I'm not going to teach these halachas, the cheaters are going to say, they don't know about our cheating ways, and it's going to be a disrespect to Talmidei Chachamim. Said the Gemara, with the Ibnei Yeshiva asked the Shaila, Omra or loy omra, did he say it at the end or not? Because he had a suffix, should I say it or not? Did he say these halachas or not? Omar of Shmuel bar Rav Yitzchak, Omra, he did say it at the end. And he learned it from this pasuk, Omra, because it says, Ki yisharim darkei Hashem, the ways of Hashem are straight. The people who are righteous, we're going to go with them and go in the right way. And the people who are poishim, the Ramoim, are going to be nichshal, and they're going to learn from the cheating ways how to cheat. But that's the ways of Hashem, and you have to teach them. So you shouldn't do cheating not in these things. What do they mean? When you're measuring land. And how would you measure land back in the day? They'd have a rope of, let's say, 50 meters, and then you'd pull the rope fully. You have 50 meters, and then you'd do another, and you'd make a mark, and you'd measure from there another 50 meters. So it says a brayso, let's say you want to split a land, so you're going to measure to one in the summer days, where the rope is hard and it measures a bit less than 50 meters or less than when in the winter. When the rope is wetter and you could stretch it more. So therefore that's cheating, you're not allowed to do that. The mishkol, it means he's going to put his weight in salt, and the salt is going to eat of the weight of the mishkol, and then you're going to measure, and you're saying it's a kilo, but really it's less than a kilo. The mishura, it means that let's say you're giving someone wine, shouldn't pour it very fast, that there's going to be foam at the top, and then he's not going to get his full measurement. Says the Gemara, what in the measurement of the when you make foam, that you're cheating only echad mishloishim v'shisha belug, that's 1 in 36 of a lug, that's all what you're cheating. Ekpidol of Torah, the Torah said you shouldn't cheat even that small amount, 1 in 36. Kal v'choyma, even more so, don't cheat lehin, v'chetzi ayin, v'shlishis ayin, v'revius ayin, v'loig, v'chetzi loig, v'revius, v'chetzi tuman, v'uchla. They shouldn't cheat in much bigger measurements. If in a small measurement you shouldn't cheat, kal v'choyma, you shouldn't cheat in a much bigger measurement. Omar v'yuda Omar Rav, osu la'odom she'isha midu chasera or yesera b'toich beisoy. If a person has, let's say, a measurement of a kilo, and it's really only 950 grams, or really it's a kilo and a half, a kilo 50, you're not allowed to keep the measurement in your house, because you might cheat with it. You might buy with the higher measurement, or if you have a low measurement, sell with the low measurement. Even if you're not using it, you have to destroy it. Even if you used it in the toilet for the toilet pot, and it's disgusting, and you say, okay, I'll never use it. No, you're not allowed to use it, because maybe you'll clean it and you'll use it, and therefore you have to destroy it. Omar, Papa Loy Amar, and we never said this, Elo be'asra deloy chatimi, when the weights didn't have a signature from the law enforcement of this is a kilo and this is a different measurement, because Aval be'asra de chatimi, when it's stamped and we know that it's the right measurement, Iloi chozi chatima, if the customer or the seller won't see that it's stamped, Loi shokil, he's not going to buy, and therefore there's no chashash. Says the Gemara, even in the place where it's not stamped, and we also don't say that you're not allowed to have this in your house, when there's no mandasi coming around. Mandasi are people who come all the time around to check if the measurements are correct. Aval mandasi, if they come around to check, there's no chashash. Says the Gemara, these both things that we said is not true. Zimnim, sometimes the mikru ben hashmoshes, it's Erev Shabbos and a person's rushing and he doesn't have time to check if there's a stamp, no stamp to check these things. Umikru v'shokil, and he might measure with it and cheat, and therefore you have to, any situation, if a guy has a measurement that's not really the correct measurement, the correct weight, you have to destroy it. Tani Nam Yochi, we learn to Bryce the same. Lo isha odom mido chasero yisero b'teich beis. A person's not allowed to have in his house a mido that's too small or too big. Even if you're using it for a meraglaim, even if you're using it as a pot